Alrighty. How do you want to handle roll call? I guess when Rivka gets here, we can
think
call
of
her in at that
Patsy
point. I
usually
mean,
made a note later on.
Okay. So I guess as far as roll call, Becky.
Here.
Are you here? Tim,
Present.
Doug,
Here.
and I am here.
There've been a couple little changes to the agenda. Want to
Okay.
highlight what those have been.
Yes,
Just a note, we did move the finance section to first, because Annalise is gonna join us, so she can join us and then be able to kick out when she needs to. So that got switched around a little bit, so finance first. I did move the highlighted tree sale profit loss update. I just put that seemed to make sense more as part of the finance committee section, because it's more focusing on profit loss stuff on there, so I just moved that section, and then work agreements, we have updated Sean. SISMA work agreement for the HOA, and then we have 3 strike team work agreements. I think those are the changes from the initial agenda that I sent.
do we need approval of that?
Yep, I just need to, I think it's just same as approval agenda as written or something,
We need
So moved.
minutes too. to
and minutes,
review.
yeah.
I moved for both the agenda and minutes as presented.
There you go.
There was a problem with the minutes. I'm not Tim Broden, right?
I missed that.
I'll make that slight.
But I don't even know who approved. I don't know if it was me or Doug, but somehow we got it combined there.
Mhm.
I'll make that edit.
Have a
Alrighty.
drink to it.
Is there any discussion on the approval of the agenda and the minutes? We shall vote, then there is no, all those in favor of accepting them as printed here.
All right.
Aye. Kind of got ahead of myself a little bit. I don't want another word for it. Lord, please come with us this evening as we come before the hour of making decisions that best move the county conservation district and conservation efforts forward throughout Ottawa County. Be with us as we drive home, be with us in our toils of this time of year. A lot of us are working outside, no matter if we're farmers or not. But let us be appreciative of the weather and the beautiful surroundings that we get to live in. And this we ask in your name, amen. And back to public comment. We have no public. Reports.
great.
There's
working
copies
is
of
better
the
than your
staff
ventriloquism.
reports here, and then also in your packet, I put the
work
partner
in
report
progress.
from Emendard that Jack sent us if there's any extra questions or notes or whatever.
Great.
You can probably do NRCS's report now too. Oh, it's
Let's
your
go for
update.
it.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping
Go.
ahead of you.
No, we'll,
Did you get my text
I did.
Thanks.
We give you 2 minutes. And then we just started without you.
Okay.
We literally, we're just starting. Is there any questions? Do we have any, reports that are?
We'll
verbal
do,
this week?
we have the RCPP highlight, which we'll do, kind of after updates, but that's the main thing. Megan's here to do that. But we have no other staff to do, any other kind of 2-minute highlight, so.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I was throwing the two together, staff
That's okay.
highlights and their reports, so, all right, so staff highlights.
Well, we can do,
Any staff? Any staff with highlights?
yeah, you can go ahead and just do your RCPP update
Yeah.
right now, since we only have you.
So it's RCPP is moving into the final year and a half of the agreement. We have 3 applications going through QAR currently. We expect to have them obligated by June 6th. 2 cover crop applications, 1 grade stabilization structure over in Kent. We've been doing a lot more field work, staking out some grass waterways, pasture planting evaluations. The fridge is full of pasture clippings right now. Residue surveys will come in a couple weeks after everyone finishes up planting. Livestock designs, livestock pipeline designs and brush management certifications, also contract modifications. Have to run through irrigation water management tracking and prescribed grazing plans with a couple producers. And we set an RCPP advisory update for about the past 6 months. We set it for June. We expect to have some more information after the contracts get obligated and a clear amount of what money's left in the agreement to use. The remainder of the money is either gonna go towards easements if that works out, or if not, we're planning on spending it with contract or with landowner contracts. So
So potentially one more sign up.
potentially one more sign up in the beginning of next year,
When you see easements, what does that mean?
the county. We had part of our CPP was doing easements with
Oh.
Ottawa County.
The
So-
farmland.
Ottawa County
preservation.
Preservation, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
So, if one fits, then it can go fix that. You have just under 150,000 left currently. We expect to have some contracts finished up though, so potentially more. Summary, Sarah, anything to add?
Yeah, no, the only thing I'll add with what Megan said as far as our CPP, it's just been. A lot of projects work is getting done, and we've gone out tomorrow for to stake out a grass waterway. And yeah, just a bunch of stuff are in process of getting work done, so we have a couple contracts which should finish out this year, which is nice. But yeah,
All the participants so far happy.
For the most part, and if they're not, we're sorting it out, so they are. You know, working, straightening some things out.
I can only really think of, we have like one contract that we might have to do some sort of. They haven't really done anything yet, and we're trying to get them to figure out what they wanna do, cause there's some tensions between the CEO versus the people who are actually here doing it, so we're trying to figure out, like. You guys signed a contract, what do you wanna do? Do you wanna cancel, or do you wanna move forward with something?
Yeah.
That's one situation, but
No,
You say a CEO, so it's a business?
it's, yeah, like it's a
Larger
farming, it's a business, I mean, it's
it's an
the president of the company is an entity, it's a farming company, but. Yeah, so it's just a larger organization.
So we can just sign contracts without even having a contract of what said we're gonna do? I mean, like I said.
No, we do have a contract of what they're supposed to be doing.
Oh.
But they haven't acted on it all yet, because there's some entities wanted to cancel. Some wanted to keep going, and it's kind of like we're trying to figure out what they wanna do, but at some point, we're gonna have some sort of a compliance letters and be like, hey. Now you gotta do something, or
Like a cost share thing.
it's a cost share, yeah, so like they're putting in pollinator habitat and tree planting is what they're supposed to be doing. So they did some tree planting so far, but. So that's like one of the ones that we're working through, otherwise everyone else is working through their stuff, and there's just some modifications that. That naturally come up, as they start doing things and wanna update things, so. But yeah, for the most part, everyone seems to be pretty happy with what's been going in.
Any other questions on the highlights or the board reports?
No, I only noticed that, Andrew, he noted in he was looking for ideas for a field day. So I don't know if that was in his notes for the board. I don't have any offhand, but I can.
We're working on 2 ideas right now. One, with Tim, we applied for some grant funding to do maybe a soil health. Kind of, little field day, like a 3-hour thing, maybe bring some food in. Look at a corn plot and look at the soil and use some soil health tools and stuff. So,
Can you, or would you entertain tying that in with cultivating resilience?
yeah, the goal is to have that as like a follow-up, kind of like a
Okay,
project, yeah.
that's what I read the field. and
Yeah.
like, okay, but.
Yes, yes,
okay, that's
yeah,
kind
so
of
it'd be like a
chatting.
smaller, so it's more focused on like some like more regenerative things you could do,
Okay. Cool.
And then we're also working on doing another follow-up workshop for the My Strips folks, having some, I think that. They're currently working with potentially having it at Mike Bronsoma's house, or a house, farm, whatever, house.
Compound.
Yeah, and so
Brought
have them
them up
actually go
100%.
out, look out at the pastures, at their pollinator habitat, and being able to look at like, what they do and do the bee counts and stuff like that. So those are our two that we're currently in the works of planning. And Andrew was able to write his first grants, I helped him with that, to get funding for kind of that fun workshop. The goal is to get some more soil health tools, giveaways and stuff with it, and be able to, bring some food in, so it's kind of like a fun little event.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Good,
But
good.
any ideas, anytime are always helpful.
I think someone else had a board thing, only one
The
other person, but. Yeah, that's what, I'm like, what was it? That was it, that will come up later.
So we got updates later,
Yeah, yeah.
good updates,
Yes, okay, that's all I have.
cool.
Thank you, Megan.
Partner updates. That basically, we just have the one, right?
And like I said, MDards is in your folder.
And you two aren't blurbing?
We basically, no. I
You're
mean,
blurbing, okay.
Okay, so for NRCS this week, for this month, we're working on updating workload assignments. We have lost 2 of our soil cons. So we're just kind of working on restructuring everything, getting everything kind of situated and I guess assigned to different employees. We are short staffed right now, so it's gonna take a lot to get things pushed through or to get things worked on. So I guess just bear with us. As far as Farm Bill program implementation, at this time, there are no new obligations. Right now, we do have a few new pre-approvals. We have, I guess, 10 applications for CSP this fiscal year, and out of those 10, 6 of them were pre-approved. At a potential amount for 225,000. So that's great right now. They're going through QAR up until, I guess, the end of this month. So hopefully all that stands and just actually goes through and gets obligated. If so, that'll be pretty good for Ottawa County. Most of those applications are for forest land improvement, pollinators, mulching, cover crops, windbreaks, and tree shrub establishment. There are also a few IPMs and field borders throughout those 6 pre-approvals. We have 2, well, there are 2 RCPP applications that are going through QAR right now. One EQIP application for forest land improvement is also going through QAR. There are 2 easements right now. They're sitting there pre-approved, I guess. I think they're kind of like waiting on a decision from state office. So that's it for that. As far as payments to farmers this month, it's been about 56,000 spent this month. And those are for 2 RCPP contracts, and they're both cover crops. And that's about all we spent this month. As far as meetings and events, in April, there was the staff tree sorting with the OCD. That was a pretty fun experience, great time. So
Organized chaos.
yeah, but it was a nice little time. I liked it. But that was really it for events this month. It was kind of like, I want to say a little discombobulated, but with all the like the ERP situation going on, it was kind of like we weren't like getting a lot new trainings or events, like I guess coming through. So I guess at some point after all this is over, we'll start doing more trainings and more events on the NRCS side. But right now it's kind of like on hold or on pause. As far as site visits, we've been doing a lot of CSP field verification site visits. Notable ones were like Farmhouse Farms and Bring Up Blueberries, Blue Ridge Blueberries. I also been doing a lot of conservation planning meetings for the CSP applications, which have ended right now, but we're going back out for the pre-approvals just to make sure that the plans that we have come up with actually align with what they actually want before it's actually approved in the system. As far as trainings, we did have, I guess, some virtual trainings. There was the FSA compliance review module on April 30th and the erosion tools office hours training held on May 7th by our state agronomists. Goals for the upcoming month. Our main goal is to complete our QAR for CSP. There were a few corrections being needed for the, I guess, CSP application. So I'm not sure if that 6 will sit right now, but for right now, we do have 6 pre-approvals pending any corrections. Also, our goals are to certify site prep, tree planting, mulching, CNMPs and FMPs, basically forest management plans. and also complete modifications for contracts that are behind schedule. Also, there are a few other certifications for pasture hayland planting and other cover crops for Ottawa County. As far as resources needed from the board at this time, I try to think of something, but I really can't think of anything that I guess, do they used to ask for like things from the board, I guess?
Never.
Okay, so. So I
I
don't
don't think
think,
they have
And
that.
even when they did, they didn't give anything.
okay, so I don't think we actually need that in here right now, so.
We was
We're
looking to
gonna-
you for money.
So right now, it's kind of, well, I'm not sure, it is kind of looking rough on our side as far as money, things have been cut recently, so. Hopefully some good news comes at some point, they are looking at IRA funds at some point being just on pause and not completely taken away, so that may be a good thing for other participants of Ottawa County in general, that money may come back to the producers, it may not, but right now, that's a decision being made at the state office, so. I'm just crossing my fingers that something does come through, so. But yeah, it's a lot of uncertainty right now for the NRCS, USDA, programs in general. I'm not sure if I should talk about CRP or not, yeah, so.
Yeah.
They have announced another CRP sign up from May 12th up until June 6th, so that's something that was kind of like unexpected, but I just found that out today that CRP is gonna be held, I guess there's gonna be a sign up this year for CRP, so.
Who's gonna do it?
It's interesting that
That-
they have another
That's why I
sign up
brought it up
when they
because,
just fired
yeah,
all the
so-
CRP techs.
yeah, so there are no more CRP techs in, or any of the counties at all, so it'll be,
What are they paying? But now,
Nothing.
so now they cancel the contract, so,
don't figure out nobody coming.
yeah, so there's no CRP techs.
Or are you talking about actual from the CRP
Yes,
program itself?
yes.
What do they pay per acre? It's been a
I
lot
don't
of
know,
years
how
since.
much is it?
Depends on the program you get into. Like the continuous, like state acres, for wildlife enhancement pay, higher rates than like general. And it depends on your soil types, FSA comes up with a rate. They pay a little better on the other side of the state down south than this county, just because of the soil types. Just depends.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you're looking into it, then I guess that's something you wanna sign up before June
No, I'm just
6th.
curious.
Yeah, so.
I have a couple acres in it, I'm not drawing a blank on what I actually do get. It's like $56, I mean, it's not,
Your bank account's running.
Yeah, I don't-
yeah, I'm not running to the bank with my money.
Yeah.
Signed up for so much stuff. You can.
Can't even keep it
I
straight.
can't keep it straight.
You need an
so-
accountant, and Lisa help you.
But yeah, I'm guessing not
Show
be
me
the
the
point of
money.
contact for that CRP program for right now, since there's no one, so. If anybody, I guess, wants to sign up, I guess you can.
CEP.
Technically, you're allowed to do it.
Yeah, yeah. so-
CRP is also like with FSA, right? Or
Yeah,
is it
it
mostly
is.
run?
Yeah,
so-
FSA, NRCS kind of like join in on that. We kind of just do like the, I guess, status reviews and like the initial process of CRP, so. That's a lot taken off of me for sure. So I guess if someone does want to sign up, just send them about FSA first. And I guess at some point I'll look into it. Well, that's all I have for this NRCS update. Any questions about anything in particular? I'm not sure what I guess, ever given out like certain like details that I missed during the board meetings.
No, I mean, we haven't had.
Say this is
NRCS.
probably, yeah, more detailed than what we normally would receive, so thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, well, that's all I have.
Ibrahim's been a very busy guy.
Yeah.
Alrighty, that's all we had for updates, cause yeah,
Mhm.
if you got any questions on Jack's report that's in there, call Jack. But, yeah, I see Annalise chimed in, are you there, Annalise?
Yes, I am here.
Perfect,
I guess real quick,
beautiful timing.
before we type into, if we do a little quick interim executive director report.
Sorry, Annalise.
You're good.
The update as far as kind of planning for Jamie to start next week. I don't know if you all saw, he's actually ending up, he was gonna originally sign in today, but he's actually physically moving with his family today due to weather in North Carolina. That didn't allow him to move earlier. So, but we we're working on, we've talked with Natalie, we have a pretty good plan for his week next week. He's been working with Natalie mostly on Monday. He's gonna go to lunch with, Becky and Matt on Monday as well. And then I've set up meetings for him to meet with all the staff and learn about programs, and also to meet with FSA and FCS heads. And also hopefully to meet with MDART. I have to see, Jack's out until through tomorrow, so gonna have him come. So we've got a pretty good, he's got a packed week, the first week. He's gonna be learning a lot. But I think it'll be good. He'll be able to kind of take it all in and absorb and go from there.
Thank you for setting that all up for him.
That's really the only thing I wanted to highlight. It's not really on anywhere.
Well, that was Tuesday, anyway. It's 1 o'clock.
Unless your schedule changed, I prefer to go earlier than 1, but if 1 is what works for you, we can do that.
Some people have jobs.
You both?
Matt was the one that had the issue, not me.
Oh,
My job,
No.
I don't have a conflict.
oh, you can take lunch whenever.
I don't usually take a lunch.
Oh. I get the new one.
Well, I mean, I can be there by 12, but it's not gonna be very pleasant sitting next to me.
I don't get 1 o'clock's fine. I picked the EMBO for lack of somewhere better, because you'll be coming from the farm, right?
Oh, yeah,
Jamie will be coming from here. We'll just meet at the EMBO. I'll be at the office. That'll make it, I mean, he won't be super impressed, but we'll set the expectation. This is kind of where we're at.
Is
at
that-
the
We
level.
like to meet it.
This is how we live.
Hmm.
We ain't fancy around these parts.
Alrighty. Monthly
Okay.
program highlight, and then that was our
We did, yeah, Megan
RCPP
did that,
handled.
yeah.
Alright. Now can we turn Annalise loose? No. Finance committee report, Doug.
Okey dokey. It was kind of a little big one, or a little big one. Actually, Annalise let me know that we got our IRS money returned. 9,651.47.
Awesome.
She's now able to sign checks. Chase, she's working on getting Natalie's name off the credit card.
One more thing. We discussed too, the money from the state for
Tracy,
Tracy, that's
Mhm.
came since
Yep.
last we've met,
it has
correct?
not officially actually hit her bank yet. It
Oh.
should come in this week. They told us that they thought it should come by yesterday, but it has not arrived. in
Checks
our
in the
bank yet.
mail.
Probably, in the ether somewhere.
NHCD final sign on.
But anyway, for information, I thought it came, sorry.
Yeah, the final
But-
MOA was signed. The money just has not officially hit her bank account yet.
Alright. False alarm. Go ahead, Doug.
So we also talked about credit card expenses. Can you put them up? And these are expenses that I see all the time, district expenses. And we've asked Annalise and Ben and Sarah, now the June, to review some of these expenses, the ones that are district expenses, to see if we can put them into program. Because when I talked to kind of Natalie in the past, she just said this is the way it was done with Megan. So if you look, there's a ton of software. So we've asked them to check into some of this expenses to see if we can put it in there.
Some of that should be able to be
Indirect.
distributed across classes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like. Somewhere there was one on there for pollution insurance.
Yeah.
Did we ever
That's-
find out what if,
Annalise sent that information. I
She
think,
sent that to me.
Mhm.
Right now, I asked her. And I'm gonna check too, is like our insurance for all our stuff we do. Per year, $15,909. That's a lot of money. So we just. I don't think it's been forever since someone's reviewed it, so we need to review it and make sure.
Yeah.
If we need more, need less, seeing that the Ranger was on there, which is now gone. So. But they're gonna pick up another vehicle too, so.
Mhm.
It's full coverage on all the vehicles though?
Yeah.
Is that your liability, everything included in that?
I got everything.
So
I can
that-
send you a
that's
copy.
their-
blanket.
I can send anybody. a
I
copy
don't
of it.
care.
got it.
And that was our question with then to have another line item of 1,400 some odd dollars was why, you know, we already have liability insurance, why do we need?
Why
you know,
we got a separate policy for pollution insurance.
So that's where
so-
this kind of the,
And we're just kind of looking into it, not making any decisions.
Yeah, we're gonna dig in and figure out like, do the grants like specifically require that? And if so, is there a place we can
But
pay for
that-
those?
Offload
In
that.
some of those grants, yeah.
'cause that's a big chunk of money.
Cause that might be just for SISMA for chemicals.
That's what we
That's-
expected, yeah.
But if that stuff is actually covered under normal liability insurance, maybe we don't need it. So it's just kind of some investigation.
Did you talk to Joe first?
Joe
Joe
Fisher. Oh, no, we have not talked to them.
No,
about
that'd
it.
be the first.
We
place
just started
I'd go
looking at
to
it on
say,
Friday.
What is this? When was it started? They're like, oh,
Yep.
yeah, we did this because X, Y, or Z.
Mhm.
Yep, yep.
All right,
probably
well, we
has
don't do
it.
that anymore,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
it might be.
Yeah,
And
So-
while you're digging in on that, we have DNO insurance current policy, right?
what is DNO?
I'm sure as hell should.
Director and
Directors and
officers.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
yes, we do.
Yeah.
We've always had that. We're all
Cause
included
that's not
in
covered
it.
under general liability and a
No.
lot of times people
It's,
assume it is.
it's a line
Especially
item,
if
and
it's
we're
property.
mentioned in
Yeah, we all got sued a couple years,
So
several
it's
years
just
ago.
good. It's just good.
Disgruntled one.
the things I see every month, and I'm thinking, you know, all the time that, you know.
Yeah.
Jamie's and Annalise's wages come out of this, and why not, or any other thing that we wanna do for the district itself. You know, that's money we could be saving for the district, I think I should put it that way.
I think it's good to take a closer look at these things. I do believe that a lot of those are probably distributed across indirects that are included in the grants that are either negotiated or just whatever standard, a lot of that.
Right, a lot of the
software.
indirects are kind of, become
Yeah.
part of our district budget.
Right, so that's what indirects are for, is to offset some of these, you know, costs that, you know, of operating type of deal.
Mhm.
But some of this is like Zoom, I mean, if I'm being honest, like, we
Right.
hardly use Zoom anymore. Everybody uses Google Meets or Teams or whatever, you
We
know.
still need
it's-
Zoom, we,
Yeah.
other people use Zoom, we
Yeah,
use
yeah.
Zoom for these meetings every time. so.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you need the number of seats that you're paying for? I mean,
Right.
that would be worth asking,
Yeah.
right? Cause clearly you're paying for probably 8 seats based on that.
I don't know, I think a
Total?
lot of us use just the Ottawa CD account.
In which case you could probably get rid of some of those seats.
Well, I just got rid of, I had a separate Zoom account that was paid for under our grants because we used it for all of our grant related meetings, but now. We usually use Google Meet or whatever, and maybe our grant could now pick up the district Zoom account or at least a portion of it. So there's,
Right.
yeah, there's gonna be some investigative sort of.
I do know we went through and we, got rid of a couple, I think maybe
Yeah.
about a year or so ago.
When Natalie took over, we did the same thing, and Natalie did find quite, I'm gonna say quite a few
Yeah, there's a
knocked
couple
them
were
off.
all canceled.
that we were
didn't
just
need.
paying for no reason.
Mhm,
It's just another look at it,
mhm.
so we're gonna come back next month and talk. So besides work agreements, that's about it. Oh,
Do we want to cover new
Yeah.
vehicle here,
we got one more.
or is that somewhere later in the?
That's
So-
later.
Okay,
We talked about the federal audit, we've talked about this many times in our meetings. Ben mentioned me one time, we stay under the $1 million mark. We don't trigger that audit, so he's gonna look into seeing where we are in all our spending. So we can try to avoid triggering that audit.
we're getting closer and closer to it. We just didn't
Good.
wanna, if we could hold the check maybe for, if it comes to it, you know, a couple weeks to a month,
See where we're
just
at.
to be
Yeah,
able
we
to.
felt pretty sure we were gonna land there, but if we can avoid a.
Well, originally, we were pretty sure we were gonna land there when it was 750, and then they bumped it up to 1 million, and when we ran some numbers, we thought we were gonna be. Probably under that and skate under it, but it was gonna be close.
Avoiding a single audit would be amazing.
Yes, it
Mhm.
sure would, and that's why, like, so
Absolutely.
I was telling them. Usually, most of our cover crops are done, and that's where a lot of our cost share comes from, that's, you know, 200 grand worth of federal funding. Every single year goes toward that, toward the end of the year, but that's usually the first quarter of the next fiscal year. But we usually have a decent amount, 30, 40, sometimes 50 grand of people that did like aerial applied or did them earlier. And if I can talk to some of those landowners and see if they'd be willing to push their cost share checks into the next quarter with the rest of them. If that gets us under that million amount and prevents us from triggering an audit, that would be great.
So is it actual when the feds cut the check to us is when that is what
Yeah.
counts on their side is when the feds
Yep.
cut it to us. So we just hold on.
Yep,
Submission
yep,
till
so
the
we,
end
you
of
know, we would, yeah, ask them to hold for submission of their cost share until Q1 of fiscal year, but then you run into the issue of, do we then trigger it the next year anyways? So,
Right, the two things, are kicking the can down the road. And is that appropriate? An
yeah,
appropriate conversation for us to have with the landlord.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We would only do it if we're that close. I mean,
Right.
we would hate to
but
get
even
in
then
there on
again,
Monday morning and know that we went $50,000
Yeah.
over our.
We don't know where we're at.
Yeah.
So they're just checking the,
but doing
see where our
that could
numbers
also then just mean we're gonna trigger it the
Yeah.
next fiscal year, you know? And
But it kicks a, what, $8,000 audit or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
it would be
into
better
another 12
prepared a
months.
year from now.
And I'm not saying it's not a good idea, I just am
Mhm.
that's the big
stating-
Oh,
question,
there's-
like,
stating for the
repercussions.
record that that may
Yeah.
not be, you
Yeah.
know,
right.
we're gonna be very,
You go to a guy, hey, can you just wait to get paid for
Um,
another 3-4 months? Is that cool?
Yeah,
with you? Cause we
just-
don't wanna do a federal audit.
Right.
so-
Yep.
We don't know where
Yep.
we're at. We don't even know where we're at though. That was
Well,
part
they
of
would.
it.
we
Oh,
would-
no, I'm
yeah.
thinking, no, I'm thinking calendar versus.
We don't
fiscal
pay the
year.
car insurance.
No, the car comes later.
Oh, so we don't need to talk about.
No need to
Well,
talk
we
about
should
the car.
probably just assume that we are definitely gonna need that audit next fiscal year.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, we're not
Especially because we have.
saying no, but that's one thing we're looking at.
Mhm.
Any questions on the finance committee report? Is that all for the finance committee report?
Yeah, because we're talking about vehicle later. so.
I'm just curious what the context was of pulling a profit and loss for August through July. What was the purpose of
That is a tree sale, which I'll get to.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
just the
that's
tree
specifically
sale.
for
I
tree
just
sale.
looked at the date and wasn't looking at the. okay,
No,
that
it's
makes
okay.
More sense.
I did wanna point
Okay.
out, I think the cost, the cash flow sheet, or whatever you call it.
And
This
before we get into
Oh, sorry.
reconciliations, do we have a motion to accept them?
What?
Can we have a motion, can we have a motion to pay the April bills? Because we gotta have a motion on the floor, then we will discuss. Thank you. A second?
Second,
Now, is there any discussion? All right, take
Okay,
it away.
I just want to point out that the cash flow forecast didn't get sent to the full board previously, so if you wanna take a second to look at that, the cash flow is here. So we realized today that only got sent to the finance committee and not to the full board packet, so.
I had one quick question on this recurring bill one that Health Equity has on here twice,
Mhm.
and I'm just not sure why.
I think it's there 2 people.
Okay, gotcha. Done.
Annalise, is that correct? I forget what Annalise done.
What did you say, Sarah? What was your answer?
On recurring bill that Health Equity is on here twice, and Sarah was saying that's representative for 2 separate people. Is that correct?
I need to see the bills list. Can you pull that up, Sarah? It should be. So health equity, I think we pay one is vision and then there's a separate account that we pay for dental. So I think
Okay.
that's what the separate
Yeah.
items are for.
Okay,
You get
gotcha.
All kinds of different ones.
But maybe not 2, so maybe.
The
it's just me.
HSA one would be the one that you're probably thinking of, Sarah, for the separate people.
Oh, my bad, then, yeah.
Okay,
I'm
that makes
Annalise is
sense.
here then. Yeah, we'll talk about the last August thing, once you guys look at the other stuff.
So are we still consistent with the appropriations budget? We don't need to make any amendments. We're good because we're kind of midway through the year.
As far as I'm aware, that's something that Annalise and I
Over
talked
on
about
any
today.
expenses.
Yeah, something that Annalise and I talked about today is that we actually haven't gone back to like do an update to see where we're currently at with the appropriations, which is something that was a goal of trying to do that every quarter. So I think we want, maybe we want to try to have that ready for June to
Yeah,
actually.
I know it's a lot for you guys when
Yeah.
Jamie gets on board and stuff. We'll have to go back to going, okay, the budget to actual on the
Yeah,
appropriation.
but that's
so we
definitely
can
something
track that
we talked about that today, so.
ongoing.
But
Do you guys enter the budget, like the appropriations budget directly into QuickBooks so that you can just do a budget to actual report? in
No.
QuickBooks?
I don't think
We
so.
do not.
We will be able to get to where we can get QuickBooks to do what it's supposed to do, but budgeting in QuickBooks completely sucks. And Appropriations Act categorization in QuickBooks sucks even worse, so.
Okay.
Well, I'll just go to bat for you on that, Annalise. I can verify this.
Thank you, Becky.
You're welcome. If you guys can sort that out, you're dang
Not even
condition is what you
screen
are.
Sorry, Annalise, I guess.
Is
my
there
search
another-
engine-
You're
item
good.
out? I know QuickBooks is the answer to everything here the last few years, but is there a
I don't.
software package out there
There's
that?
not.
Okay,
Unfortunately.
I mean-
The way the Appropriations Act is set up, there isn't
Right.
any other good way to do it other than
Yeah.
to like export your data out of QuickBooks, dump it into the Appropriations Act and back and forth.
I feel like every 6 months I'm like, look to see if there's anything out there, but there's just not, because it's a massive headache for districts overall.
Well, you come up with something like that and you'd be sipping Tata on the beach somewhere for the rest of your
Oh, I'm
days.
sure there's other. There's all kinds of business. stuff
There's a
that-
lot of like FreshBooks and stuff, but nothing that really has the exact features that we need for grant management. Like, there's plenty of stuff out there for independent contractors, small businesses, that kind of stuff, but it just is missing features that we need. QuickBooks just has the corner on the market, unfortunately.
Is there any other discussion on the bills and the balance sheet? And is there any, have we all had a chance to look it over and are we comfy with it? If so, there's a motion on the floor to. If there's no more discussion, we will vote. All, yeah, the motion was in favor to pay them, so. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Pay the bills. Cash flow forecast.
That's just this. There it is.
Perfect.
The only thing that's changed from when it was sent to you and Doug and Matt was that we did add in 10,500 that we should be getting sometime this week from NACD. That's what they told us we should be, originally told us we should be getting it by Monday, but we haven't gotten it yet, so we're hoping sometime this week. And that's like our first initial 20% of the grant.
Any questions on the forecast? Tree sale, this is the fun one.
All right, so that's what this last August to July profit and losses. So,
We're good with Annalise.
and we
right?
also,
We're good with Annalise, right?
I'll keep Annalise just in case there's any final questions as far as expenses and stuff on this part. If that's okay, Annalise.
Yep, that works.
Okay, what we have on here, the first column with the gross profit of 33,000, that was this year's tree sale. And then last year's tree sale was the one on the far right with the gross profit of 29,000. One thing, so we did some comparisons to take a look, and also, so I mean, on the back page of that, you can basically see our net income for this year's tree sale actually ended up being $14,808. Compared to last year's, our net income was just under 13,500. Something that we've noticed is that we think that in the past, when we have been running these tree sale profit and loss sheets, we don't think we've been covering all of the expenses, because we do have some expenses for trees when we make the orders for trees in August, the year prior, which means that we have some deposits down earlier. And we kind of think that in the past couple of years, we haven't been capturing those accurately, because we maybe have been doing the profit loss based off when we start doing trees or in the beginning of the year.
Mm.
So we wanted to go back to make sure that it was really fully accurate. Me and Annalise looked at the, all the tree expenses. We're like, okay, double check, make sure we have all the right ones. So, because I just remember in the past, our profits being listed as like more closer to like 17, 18, but I think we were missing out on some of those tree expenses that we have to pay for ahead of time. So our expenses for,
Like once we get good at this and have the right people in place, we can get an adjusting journal entry at the end of the year to move that forward into the
Mhm,
fiscal year, so that you can just pull the report and you're not doing two different sets of books.
right, and at least for this year, just to make a note, we made sure to make a note in our tree sale SOP to make sure you go back to August and cover all those expenses.
Mhm.
Because the one thing to note is that our biggest expense for tree sale is purchasing the trees themselves. So this year, the cost of trees was almost $15,000. We had, I think that final expense for the reforestation was just over 15,000, because we had like one return that we had to make, or a refund. And then last year we spent a little over $10,000 on trees. So our tree the amount of money we spent on trees up front went higher. A big part of that, I think, came from our potted trees that we did, because those are obviously a bigger expense, but the nice thing with the potted trees was that we didn't have to pay for them until we knew how much we actually sold. So we didn't have to like pay for extra upfront and then have to try to sell extra if we didn't sell it. So that was nice.
Trees, nice.
So, and people really seem to like it. It was the first time doing it. So I think it'll be good to build it in the future. That's what, again, Ken Prince Nursery, and he was pretty into it. And so he said he had some ideas and stuff for next year and all that. So
How many vendors did you use?
Total
5.
five? Yeah.
Yeah, we had the Hilltop Nursery was the apple trees. We used Peterson's. Is that what it's called for the white pines?
Yeah, so Hilltop, Peterson's, Engels, New Life, Alpha.
And Ken
then-
Prince.
Yeah, so 6.
6, I guess, technically, yeah. There's like 2 of them where we only bought one thing from. Peterson's was the white pines, and then the red orchard dogwood, I think, was the only thing we got from Engels. And those nurseries change every year depending on prices. You know, we get the catalogs like in September, in October, in August or whatever, and then we kind of decide around then what we want to get for the next year. We did have a debrief meeting. We talked about some good ideas for the next year. I think our supplies expenses were cheaper this year because we got some different supplies and things, and we actually had much lower wages going into it this year. But that I think we have been doing pretty good with getting volunteers to help out with some of
I
that
think we
stuff.
tracked wage, well, I mean, back in my day, we never tracked wages.
The only wages that we put into it now is if SISMA helps at all. Cause
Okay.
they're the ones that, you know, they don't really have space in their budget. So it's mostly for like staff sorting day if they
Okay.
come to help out. But this year we didn't end up needing like the crew to help out, but the only wage that we had to track was Will, and he helped for like 3 hours. So there's not much in there. Everyone else can charge to their grants.
You must be doing better because you didn't need the board either, so.
Yeah, well, that we ended up getting through it a lot pretty
Went through
fast.
it one day.
Yeah, for at least the wrapping and everything, the
Yeah.
volunteers you were there for the volunteers.
Yeah, they did a heck of a job. We got basically everything wrapped by lunch that day, besides
Wow.
one big order that Algro had placed for, they had 100, they bought 1,500 trees from us, 150 10-packs. And those 10 packs had 5 different species, so it's two,
Oh
two,
my
two,
God.
two, two. So we basically got everything wrapped and done and saved that for the afternoon and just had kind of a conveyor belt of volunteers for that afternoon doing 150 10-packs.
And wrapping the apple trees were much bigger than we expected. We should have gotten a picture of Ben's car when he went to go pick him up, because he took his little car and it was much bigger than thinking.
Much bigger than his little car.
I'm like, was that it? I could put that in the back seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the case with these. Yeah, I drove to
Right.
Hartford. It was in Hartford and, you know, that was one of the days I was working from home. I was like, all right, I'll drive down to Hartford, I'll grab these. And I have this little 4-door sedan and hey, it was only 100 trees. So I was like, it'll be fine.
Right.
These were 7-foot tall trees. I had to lay down my back seat, had a bundle of 50 going out it was sitting in my front, but then like out my rear left back window. And then the other 50 were in my back seat, out my other window. It was wild.
And you didn't get a picture?
Yeah, I might have, but I just stopped for gas at one point and a bunch of people were
Get
like,
some
what
looks.
are you doing?
What's
Like, are you-
happening here? So, but yeah,
Great.
we did have less trees this year that we sold. I think we sold a little less trees, but we also overall purchased less trees. So I think in the future, because our volunteers got through things so quickly, we could definitely do more trees. I think we have some price adjustments we want to take a look at and really kind of like hone in some things now that we've learned some things this year, but we've got some good ideas for next year. And yeah,
She mentioned to us that you had an issue with the weight.
oh, that was something that when I told you guys we didn't need you for that Friday, we did not take into account how much
How
the
did-
potted trees weighed. And then it rained on us, so then it made them even heavier. So that was really fun, but Andrew came and saved the day, and he came and helped lift. I was lifting a lot of things in the morning, and then Andrew came and bodied them himself, so that was great. So we will have to think, we're gonna take that into account next year, if like, okay, if we have volunteers for those days, and of course, our volunteers for those days ended up not being able to pick up that kind of weight. So we need to look for some more volunteers that maybe can pick up some more heavier things, or maybe have maybe a couple more staff who are there, just.
I should also mention too, that
He
like.
got sick last minute.
Yeah, on wrap, I was there Wednesday for wrapping and then I had strep throat that night. So I was gone Thursday and Friday.
So really,
so.
Ben's fault. That I had to
And
lift
how
all the
heavy
trees.
they were.
No, by the time I got home Wednesday night, like halfway home, I was like, I'm feeling kind of weird, it's really warm in here. And I got home and I was like, I texted my wife, I was sitting in the parking lot, I'm just gonna like, it's been a long day, I'm just gonna lay down in my car for a minute, and just, and then half an hour goes by, I was like, I think I'm sick. I think something's up here. And by that night I had a fever and it was bad. So
Mhm. So.
fortunately, I didn't get you guys sick. I'm
Yeah.
Any
we
questions
talked
on the
about
tree
that
sale?
today. Yeah, any financial questions at all?
Oh, good work. Thanks for not needing us.
We might need you more next year,
Worked
actually.
ourselves right out of a job.
You should still make us come, because we need to be there. You should
Yeah.
Probably, even if you don't need us, you should send somebody else home and make us come, because we
Yeah.
have to be present. If you tell me I don't have to take half a day, I won't take half a day, but.
Okay,
All right, Human Resource Committee.
thanks,
meeting
Annalise.
Report. Thank
Yeah,
you,
see you
Annalise.
guys. Thank you.
Um. Yeah, there is not a whole bunch to report other than what Sarah already provided. Jamie's onboarding, his arrival time, that's all sorting out. Work agreements that are in your packet. There are items in your packet also that probably the chair was already authorized to sign, but because it's called a resolution and it's kind of formal, I'd rather have it in a packet and approve these documents that need to be signed in order to keep moving forward with the MERS. So I'd put them in there for a vote. Just to be, err on the side of caution, even though we passed it and the board chair has signed.
And that's the
authority.
policy here below, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So those are all the items under human resources at the moment. Unless I'm missing something, Tim? Oh, I guess the other thing that everybody already knows, I suppose, is that, we, halted the hiring process to replace Will because Will is still with us, so. We did engage in some interviews, but Will is still with us, so that is a wonderful thing. And that's it.
So did Will ever leave?
Nope.
All right,
No, he got the call that the contracts were canceled while the interviews had only just started for his position.
If that whole thing would have been maybe 2 weeks later, it would have been a pretty
Yeah,
messy situation.
Yeah, that would have been really icky. So the
Mhm.
timing was very, very good on that, that it happened when it did. And not
Great for
like
us to
it
keep
later.
Will,
Yes.
sad for Ibrahim to not be our next person.
All right.
all right, that's it for your report, right?
Correct. Jim, you have anything to add?
Nope.
Well, then on the work agreements, I guess I would entertain a motion to either agree or disagree on,
I make a motion to accept both of these work agreements as written.
do you need them broke out? I guess we don't.
I don't think necessarily, they are 4 agreements technically, because there's 3 strike agreements.
Does anybody want them
Both of the-
separated?
I don't think you necessarily need.
Yeah, one with a raise, right?
Yeah,
No,
one's with a
raise.
raise and then one's 3-year for the strike
Alright.
team.
Then we can load them together, no one will have to. see
I'll
them.
second.
All right, any discussion on the work agreements? On the strike team and Shane,
I'll just make one note of some edit I had Mariel do. I kind of switched it where originally on Sean's, they had an end date because that was based
Oh,
off of
yeah.
how much money we currently had granted, but we don't typically do that for any of our other grant employees. Because then I would say like, well, then we would probably need to have another more updated work agreements because it says an end date of this. But then I did have her, so I had her take the end date off for the HWA because he's a full-time and they're expecting to get grants, and if that doesn't happen, then obviously we would do things then. But for the strike team, there was not an end date listed, which the strike team is temporary, so I at least had her list out. The estimated end date, so that we know that there's like, it says temporary, but just obviously, so it shows that there's like a estimated end date, and that end date could adjust sometimes depending on the person, and if they have the flexibility to maybe help out for a little longer.
all right, all those in favor? To push the agreements through. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Fire them. So policy, so I guess we need a motion about on the MERS resolution.
I make a motion to approve the MERS resolutions.
Authorize the board chair to sign.
Yeah.
Is there support?
In some contact form. Support.
Any discussion?
Same as what we did before, nothing different.
Right, these are just the documents that enact everything, and I will be honest, there's a
Oh,
couple of
please be.
documents included by reference that I did not read word for word. I'll own that. I did read the words in front of you, but I didn't read the supplemental documents that comprise the entire agreement word for word. So if anybody cares to do that, have at it, but I'm going to think that Tara's not gonna do anything nefarious to us via those agreements.
May I ask a follow-up question?
Of course.
Do we want the chair to sign, or do we want this to be filled out by Jamie next week? Or does it matter? Cause like some of these forms have some more additional information. It looks like they might need, I don't know, they're signing, do the participation agreement, is that something that we would want? Matt to fill out now and sign?
Yes, I think that the board chair should sign all of these, including the contact form, but you
Okay.
can use Jamie as the primary contact.
Okay, gotcha, just wanted to double check.
Yes.
Cool.
Any more agreement, or any more discussion?
More agreement, please.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I can sign the resolution. Operations, plant sale.
Plant sales this weekend, Saturday, should be a fun time. As you can see, Morgan and the plant sale committee have been collecting supplies, getting ready for it. Plant sale is definitely one of our more like very busy like day of events. I was actually thinking, I think I'm planning on, I'm not on plant sale committee, but I was thinking about going to the plant sale for like 2 hours on to Saturday to do more like a outreach kind of, maybe do like a fun little video of like, maybe we usually have like a huge line like down waiting for the doors to open. So I was thinking about going, taking some fun videos, maybe seeing if some people would be willing to answer some like be interviewed sort of and be like, hey, like ask people, you know, why do you want to plant native plants, or why are you here to purchase native plants, and just do some fun things like that and do like a little like follow-up recap video, and then that could be used really well to help them out. Yeah, you know, be on Instagram now. So, but anyways, if you're interested in stopping by, it gets pretty wild.
Do you need help? Like
They do have a
hands-on?
lot of, they do have a lot of volunteers this time around. So like I said, I would have to double check with Morgan, but I think they have like, they originally had like 11 volunteers and I think 2 backed out. So they have like 9 volunteers right now, which is kind of a lot, for what they need. So I think they've got it planned out, but
Okay.
I could double check with Morgan tomorrow if she feels like she
Only
might.
because I did sign up for the Algro kayak thing with the SAG.
I think as of right now, from what.
So you're looking to get out of the kayak thing, or you just,
I'm looking to cop out also on native plant sale, just as I copped out on tree sale.
All good.
wondered where?
I'm gonna cop out
I
on
think,
something else further on the agenda too, so just buckle up on
Get
additional
ready.
cop outs.
No, I think we should be good because I think they've got a lot of, like I
Duly
said,
noted in the minutes.
a lot of, they have a lot of volunteers for there. So I think that they've got a good plan. And there's at least 3 staff for sure that are gonna be there. Tracy, Muriel, and Morgan.
Okay.
Let the
So,
minutes show that Becky, you don't have to feel guilty about copping out,
I do know that
All
Rick has been
volunteers
there helping
that
out
are
with
picking
the,
up for her.
Yep, I know, it's gonna feel weird,
yeah,
not,
did you help out with the fall one too, or no?
yeah.
Okay,
One of them, we had, the thing wasn't working, so I was doing it.
yes, I remember that. It was me, Natalie, and you.
Boston?
The tax
Writing
stuff
out
was
all
weird.
receipts,
Actual
calculating sales tax.
Yeah, it was
Oh
Oh my gosh,
wow.
math? I'm like,
I feel like I'm
mathing?
15 again.
Should I be pulling an ice cream cone?
Right.
But yeah, so I think we should be good, but otherwise, that's a question for Morgan.
Great.
Okay, good deal. Well,
Mhm.
I mean,
I'll tell her to let you guys know.
Next one I've been waiting for, and Tim too. Vehicle update.
Yeah,
Tim wants to
we
know
got
what his
our-
future new vehicle,
yeah, we-
future used vehicle's gonna look like in 3 to 6 years.
So you gonna wait 10 years or what?
We have our vehicle, so I've spent a good portion of this week and a lot of last week, searching up vehicles, trying to find one, test driving a few.
There's a little.
Kind of one of those things where every time we would find something in our price range that looked good, it would be gone by the time I got to the dealership. So we found a 2012 Toyota RAV4, good mileage, about 91,000 miles. Everything checked out, clean Carfax. Took it for a test drive today. It was great. Within our price range, it was 12,900. So out the door, it's going to be 13,311.
Nice.
Yeah, just perfect. So like I said, drove really nice. Took it on the highway over the speed limit. But it's fine.
Can you fit 100 apple trees in it?
I can fit more apple trees in this than I can in my car,
All
for
right,
sure,
all right.
yeah.
This is
For
for
sure.
FYI.
No, it's spacious. Like, that's the other thing too. Like, we were getting to the point in the budget where we were looking at smaller cars like sedans and stuff too, and they would have been fine. This is gonna be so much better with equipment and, you know, as Sarah and I are doing monitoring and everything, so. The plan right now is we did put a $200 deposit on it. And then Annalise, because she's phenomenal, I texted her a little bit ago and I said, hey, could you prepare us a check? And I told her, like, you can do it tomorrow, that's fine. She's like, I'll just do it tonight. So she emailed
Perfect.
us a copy of the check. So if you guys can stay around for 5 minutes after the meeting, we can print it out real quick, get you to sign it, and then we'll have a vehicle.
Who do we get it from?
It's Direct Auto Source in Wyoming.
Okay.
They're right off 28th Street, so.
Is that a 4-passenger, 5-passenger, the back seats and stuff fold down so you can put
It's
stuff in there?
5 people, I think, yeah,
Yeah, we got
the back
one
seats
more. Wait.
fold down, I think, but it's got a nice trunk space too, or hatch space, whatever you wanna call it.
Good, that's a lot of hours been spent.
Ben
you know,
drove around a lot
looking
today.
and searching, so yeah, that'll be good to get that.
Are you gonna be really
Behind
happy to
us.
not be car shopping anymore?
Oh my god.
Well, it's been
I haven't
one of
been
those things
car
that's been like
shopping
hanging over our
for
head
years.
too.
Yeah.
For a really long time.
And it really was like, within the last week, I think probably 6 or 7 vehicles I would see online. And actually just yesterday, 2 of them in particular, I called, they were available. By the time I got to the dealership, they were gone.
You have to like sit in
Wow.
the dealership parking lot
Yeah,
and search for what you
yeah.
want.
Mhm.
What's here right now?
The
Yeah.
one next to me, they said they sell 100 cars a week there.
Oh my gosh.
They must have 200 and I called these guys, so I'm like, you gotta come down here and look.
We, Friday of last week at the finance committee meeting, there was 2 in particular we
Yeah.
wanted to see. When we went like first thing Monday, they were both gone by that point, so.
Well, good. Well, you're done doing that, so that's good.
Great.
So we're happy.
Can we paint sunflowers or something on the side of there, so like,
I think so.
See, I'm just
Get a
happy
big
because we were
sticker
looking
on
at
the
some red
side.
cars and I'm not a fan of red cars, so I decided that's not
Yeah,
a red.
that's black, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanted blue.
They're gonna do,
Well,
they're gonna
the
do
blue is pretty,
flames
but-
on the side of it though.
Perfect.
I like Tim's
No
idea
extra
As long
about
as
it.
there's, as long as there's
Yeah.
tree flames, and, you know, burning bush. Ooh, well.
Oh, there we go.
All right, cool. Thanks for all your hard work, Ben, and your team. I know you had some other.
Ben did
things to
most of
talk.
the work.
Region 7 meeting.
It's happening.
Yep, Region 7
wants to go?
meeting is happening August
Everybody.
7. Ionia is the host district for that. They haven't put together an agenda yet. I spoke
Where's
to Melissa
Murr?
briefly about that.
where's Murr, Michigan? I never heard of it.
That's in Ionia, I'm assuming Ionia
Yeah.
County, Murr is.
Yeah.
Something that one.
Okay.
I actually had to look it up.
So, yeah, Melissa is supposed to meet with Ionia. I did email her because I get frustrated with region meetings because the whole point is to, you know, get together as, have some really good content that's gonna draw directors and people there and disseminate information from the state level, the regions, and it just becomes kind of a weird field day where we waste a whole day driving over and have lunch and go on a tour or something, so region meetings frustrate me. I'm speaking from my region chair position right now, but as the region chair, I can't go because I will be out of town at a work conference in Chicago.
Is this the other one on the agenda you're showing?
That's the cop. Yep,
Okay.
yep, I just copped. Yeah,
Sure.
thank you for keeping track. Just put that, this is the third one. or the
I
second.
was looking for which other one.
So when are you available?
Yeah,
Weren't you not
Not that
there when they
weekend,
elected
not the
you as
week-
chairman?
Yes, that's also true. Yeah,
Alright.
that happened. So I'm gonna
Region
be
chair and not.
fussing at the health state council level to the executive committee about, you know, we need to just about the region meeting. So, to that end, I talked to Paul Schroeder today, gave him a call, chatted a little bit. He and Gary and I are gonna get together and try to talk about a little content, see if we can talk to Melissa and start to change the game a little bit in the region, our region at least. But, I'm about to do something I'm gonna sorely regret, I'm sure, but here I go and do it anyway. Oh, boy. Now that I've managed expectations. Is there, or what is there that could be on the agenda for the Region 7 meeting that would get any of you to go? Is there anything they could put on that agenda to make you guys go,
Me,
you know what?
Like
I
me
wanna
go?
go. Any.
I'm the one
any
that
of our board
always
members.
said, I think that was a better meeting like any of them, better than the
Okay.
MACD one, I
Okay,
like the
so you're
Region
down for the
7,
Region
because
7.
everybody from the conservations get together,
Mhm.
put their heads together and tell what achievements they've done
Okay,
and help each other out.
okay, so kind of a
All
round
in one
table.
place. It's a
Okay.
round table.
Okay, so round
I
table you
think-
enjoy, and you're good thinking of going then maybe on the 7th? Are you able to go?
Maybe,
Okay, because that'd be
but I got
good.
a kicker for you too. But I'm on recording, so I gotta watch it. So I don't know what you're looking for content,
I'm
like a speaker or
completely
anything like that.
Whatever.
She's
trips
the
your
chair,
trigger.
so she can do whatever she wants.
I'm wide
So
open, I just, whatever, yeah.
my niece owns
Ah.
Lost Fawn Winery.
Who
she-
what? Which one?
She owns Lost Fawn Winery.
Lost. I'm sorry.
It's
She owns a
Lost
winery.
Lost what? Fun?
Fawn,
Fawn,
a deer.
okay.
and she works with Iowa County and does a lot of stuff with them.
Mhm.
And supplies wine at their conferences and stuff.
Okay, well, that's,
And I did talk to her, because I seen her last night about this. She goes, I'd help if you need something, and they got a way of supplying the wine. Somehow they do it.
did Melissa pick a location already? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Myrrh.
It's at the hall.
Myrrh, whatever
That
that.
sounds extremely boring. Maybe we can change that up.
I
Anyway,
can
okay,
make
so
that work
other,
for you.
other ideas? I mean, that's good, good to know, and good to know that you think about going. Is there anything else? From any board members on what you'd like to see on an agenda for a region meeting? That I can, when Gary and I and Paul get together. And then report back to Melissa, give her some feedback.
I do like this part where, everybody gets up and tells their achievements during the year.
Okay.
Cause I think you and I went once where somebody was talking about their annual meeting and beer and stuff there. We thought about it for a while and we didn't do it.
Probably was last round of vote, so that's not happening, but.
It's in August, that's enough time. I could brew a couple beers for
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So if anybody else has any ideas either now or as you think about it on your way home of things that like, if you're gonna get all the, is it 8 counties in our region? All of us together, what would be valuable? What do you think would be valuable for multiple counties to share? So Gary and I and Paul are gonna talk about it, get back to Melissa. I won't be there, but
I forget to write down that Doug said he'd go.
yes, did you get that? Happy that Doug is going.
Doug.
So
Might be.
That's what I have on that. Do you have anything to add from your?
I do, but
MACD hat?
I'll add it during my 2 minutes at the end.
Okay,
I'll think about it.
okay.
Good question. I guess I'm at a,
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of, you're the chair, you do all the things.
the
you
thing
know,
where
something
everybody
comes to
gets
you
up
that, like,
and leaves and goes somewhere, that kind of breaks up your party real fast. Where
Okay,
some are gonna go on
That's-
something.
that's good feedback. Okay, that's good.
I mean,
So
I've been
keep
to
it all
those
in one
Region 7
location.
meetings, and I've never been to the field trip after.
Yeah.
right,
Okay, so keep it all in one location. Round table is
it was
good.
just a
Wine
thought.
if we can swing it.
Oh, I
can
mean,
work with that.
a lot of people do like the field trips, but I think having it optional is kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you have an outing planned, but it's after everything else and people can go if they want or not go if they want. Rather than making it so.
I don't know
people
if you
have to-
could get some speakers that would benefit all the conservation districts.
I normally go for the outing. I mean, cause it's something interesting and
Okay.
out of my. Wheelhouse or
Okay,
a different set of eyes, okay, yeah, type of thing. But
okay, so that's good perspective too, but I like, yeah, having the total, that's kind of like how West Michigan Food Processing Association does it. They have like the core meeting agenda and then off to the field trip and you lose a lot of people there. It goes from a group of about 60 to maybe about 20, but it still works. Everybody gets what they want out of it and maybe you
Mhm.
gain a couple like that, but
Mhm.
so.
Time of year is tough for me, that.
Yeah,
That August is.
Yeah. Somebody
But
just
you
had
can't
their
really do
region
it in
meeting.
February
Who just
either,
had
I mean-
theirs? It
Don't
was,
get me started. 4.
okay,
I'm sorry?
okay.
4 was a fun time.
All right.
I reserve my comments for later.
Okay, that's all I had.
All
on
right.
Region 7, so that's helpful, Doug. Thank you.
Grants. Looks like you got a couple pending.
Couple we never really have much to
Yep.
add to the packet.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, couple of pending, 2 SISMA, three pending, 2 of them from SISMA. They're written on the back of your agenda, if you're looking for them. And then one lake one, which we should hear from soon, shouldn't we?
Should be soon, he said within the next few weeks, and that was last month, so.
And then I did wanna, the green highlighted for NACD is that final contract was officially received as far as executing. So now we can actually execute and we should be getting money in the
Yay
bank.
for
soon.
Tracy.
Yay. And yay for Ibrahim, because Tracy's gonna be able to help out with more stuff now again. So that's where we're at right now with grants.
Cool.
These are all pretty typical ones we've applied for, except for the lake one. That's a new one.
Nobody's writing any right now. There's nothing great happening.
No, nothing, nothing. Oh, I guess I forgot to add the MEP ones. They were smaller, educational ones. Yeah, so as far as the MEP grants, they were, it was 2 grants through MEP. One was like earn, learn, conserve, whatever. I forget what they called it.
Yeah,
And it was like a $900 thing. And so it's like a small, it mostly for field days. And so I helped.
The Farm Bureau one.
Hmm?
So the Farm Bureau one,
I
right?
think it is, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, Farm Bureau, maybe, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, which Andrew can talk more about them. So Andrew got to some experience running grants.
Yep.
And then one through NRCS, which was like 2,000.
Yeah.
But
2000, yeah.
our request was like just a little over 800, little under 800 for the one. Maybe around 800, and then it was like 14 something.
Yep.
And they're both going towards the field day we wanna do at Tim's. Do you wanna share any other points as what that program might look like once we do it?
Yeah, right now we're trying to do like a soil health, cause MEP is, like, that's where I was today. Sorry, I was late. We had a soil health field day over in Eaton Rapids for our new regenerative ag deliverables. And so, I wanted to do a field day in this county that, represented that. So like using like a shovel test, seeing what's living below the soil, stuff like that. So these grants will help us with, we were thinking about having a food truck, something that the farmers can come, have a good meal like Tim and I talked about, and then, chat as well about, some different farming practices that we may use every day that we don't think that, think to use. So, yeah, I got an email from Tess yesterday and she was looking it over, so, yep. Getting that ball rolling.
So good little educational grants that I didn't think to put on here.
Oh, that's right. Those are just little ones, not great big carry them, so.
Mhm.
Okay.
Look at that, Tim coordinate. That
Excited to
brings,
be at Tim's property.
no, it's his.
Which
Anyway.
one?
That brings us up to, board updates. Everybody gets 2 minutes. Rivka, you had something. I know you're just waiting.
Well, I'll just add as far as the region meetings, the purpose of those meetings are really to get the directors together, and that seems to have been lost in the mud somewhere. And it ends up being mostly staff at those meetings, which are great and are valuable, but undermines the entire purpose, which is to have directors there communicating with each other. Executing our role as directors for regional elections, which we don't have an election this year. We're in an off year for 7. But voting on resolutions and other important business work that directors have to do. And if we don't even have directors there, we don't have a quorum to do that business. So it is really
What
important.
do you mean
for
by directors? The EDs or the
No,
board?
no, no,
members?
us.
Board members.
Us, yeah, most districts, it's district managers and we call it executive director, so there's confusion there, but. Yeah, it really is essential that directors come to these meetings, because you can't really do our duty as board members, and check off our responsibilities if we're not there.
We should be involved in the planning and maybe have them in the
Yep.
evening or on a weekend and not
Yep.
during a work day during the week.
Yep. Yep. Which, again, we can start working on making those changes. And then other than that, I spent a lot of time this month on both working with Farm Bureau on those, setting up those Learn, Conserve, Grow grants, and on getting the NACD TA grant to happen. So I'm very excited that it happened. Big win.
Good news.
I'm also very excited.
Mhm.
Becky, what do you got? I'm sorry, Rivka, you done?
Yes, sir.
I don't know that I have anything of consequence. Pass.
Perfect. You don't get to bank your 2 minutes for next month.
You copped
I copped on them until you dropped.
I wasn't keeping track. Rivka, that's funny that you should bring that up. Tim,
What's that?
Doug,
Pretty much did all mine in financial needs.
me too. No, I'm good. There's really not a whole lot happening in my world, so.
Well, god dang, there's enough daylight I can mow my lawn and do a bunch of yard work when I get back. Here's the long meeting when I need it.
Wow.
I mean, I could give you some stuff to do if you. if
All
you
right.
really-
That would bring our adjournment, but next meeting, June 10. Right back here.
Matt, June 10, I think
It's the first one with a,
Well, I know you can't make it in August. I mean, I'm worried about, August.
Can we all cop out June 10th?
Well, I will say, I mean, if there isn't a whole lot to do,
Yeah, but that'll be our
and,
first
but
one with
we've got our new director, and so I didn't
we're probably gonna be
want.
looking at some appropriation stuff and. yeah,
So,
we'll have
maybe
some
we
things.
could skip June.
We do, and that is one thing we look at when we meet with the finance committee meeting is, okay, what's. What's out there, do you need
June's
to
just a
meet?
tough month.
It is, it is.
Can we get a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Oh,
Alright.
perfect.
Figured that. Done pretty quickly.
I was shirking none of that duty, wasn't I? That's only one.